if these situations continue, but they're smaller and smaller, then you just have that long tail of, maybe it's a pinprick by the end of all the pain. So Prime Trust, Nevada's business regulator, has reported that the financial state of Prime Trust, a crypto custodian, is critically deficient, leading to an inability to honor customer withdrawals since June 21st, 2023, which was 8 days ago. A cease and desist order was issued alleging that Prime Trust was breached in its fiduciary duties by failing to safeguard customer assets. The company has 30 days to respond to the order. Meanwhile, Bonk, a payment subsidiary of Prime Trust, filed for bankruptcy protection on June 13th, and BitGo, a wallet infrastructure provider, decided to cancel its acquisition of Prime Trust on June 22nd, 2023. Let's get into it.
Not good. Not good. Prime Trust was the back end for a lot of services. I won't list them all out here because they have all found new institutional custodians to help with their back end services. But it is unfortunate that a trust that is required to hold these assets in trust came out with an imbalance of assets and liabilities, and I think it's pretty significant. They have like $2 million in assets and $80 million in cash liabilities and like $800,000 in crypto liabilities. So not a good ratio, and it should never have gotten to that point. Maybe not a big deal if you have $10 billion in assets and $10.8 billion in liabilities. That's still not how, I mean, as Caitlin Long herself would say, that's still a little bit of leverage, and that does not mix with the digital asset industry. So not good. It's not a good look. Thankfully, it's nothing compared to, it's very much scaled down compared to FTX, but it's still unfortunate, and we need a little bit more visibility and transparency from these institutions, trusts, exchanges, et cetera. And that's why we helped to research and write House Bill 1666 in Texas that requires a proof of reserves attestation by a third party submitted to, not to the general public because maybe that's a little bit too intrusive and too much regulatory oversight, but at least to the Texas Department of Banking.
So this is very recent. What is the potential fallout?
Pretty limited, I would say. I mean, $80 million, it sounds like a lot to you and me, but in the grand scheme of things of a $1.3 trillion market, it's not that significant. And they don't have a lot of, there's not gonna be a lot of forced selling from this because they only have $800,000 in crypto liabilities. So there's probably going to be a bankruptcy. BitGo saw the books and said, "Hey, we're not going to move forward with an acquisition," kind of like Binance did when they were looking at FTX. And so I don't expect massive fallout, other than just like another little bit of a jab in the side.
Yeah, but it seems like it's a smaller jab.
It's a smaller jab. Yeah.
So if these situations continue, but they're smaller and smaller, then you just have that long tail of, maybe it's a pinprick by the end of all the pain.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope this is the last of them, because we've definitely weeded out a lot of unsafe and unsound business practices, and you're just going to have more leverage, remove the leverage. I realize I said more leverage, but what I meant was more removal of leverage in this industry. So it just doesn't mix with an asset class that's so volatile.
When something like this happens in Nevada, and is that kind of like a lesson learned for the other states? Is it lesson learned for more of the national level? Is it a lesson learned like Maxine Waters and her group can look at and go, oh, okay? Is it more of a learning situation than anything? Because like you said, 80 million is not, again, 80 million to the people that are losing it or have lost it, that's huge, but for the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I think it can serve as a lesson learned in a sense that FTX served as a huge, just like fraud that is going to change the industry forever. Right. This is probably just a blip on the radar relative to that. And unfortunately, for the customers that were affected, it's going to really hurt them. But I think the lessons have been learned. This was just sort of a lagged effect of the recent winter. and market downturn that we saw. And so we've learned the lessons. We're just moving forward.
Hey, it's Amy. Click over here to subscribe. Click over here for more content, and we'll see you next time.